Happy Thursday! I was scrolling on my videos the other day and it was like, Happy Monday, Happy Tuesday, Happy Wednesday. That's my greeting. Happy Thursday, everybody. Thank you for joining me on All Things Possible today. Like I announced, my brother Mark Baiz is coming on. He is an artist and so much more. I asked him to come on my live and talk a little bit about his journey. We both have similar journeys, and yeah, I think it's similar in the sense that we've both been homeless and both seeking to know what God is and was and is. And so my brother has a different perspective through his experience, and I want him to come on and share a little bit about his experience. So I'm going to wait a few moments. Hello, Cindy. Thank you for coming on today. All right, I'm waiting for my little brother Mark Baiz to come on. I need to get with Sheldon too, Cindy, and talk a little bit about his journey. So Mark is an artist in Orlando. We did grow up and we didn't grow up there. We were born in Trinidad and grew up in South Florida, where a lot of our growing started. Let me see if I see him on here. Nope, not yet. Melissa is on. Hey, all my peoples. Yeah, so we grew up in South Florida, a little bit in Miami, West Palm Beach, the whole Tri-County area we grew up in. And when he was little, one of my mom's boyfriend at the time was an artist. I don't know if he was an artist or he just liked drawing, but he gave Mark some pencil and a book. I'll let him tell a little bit more about the story. And from that time, it was over. By the time he was like 16, I remember he was getting letters saying for colleges that they would accept him in because his art was already so good for his age. And he just kept on practicing. He never went to the college. I think there was some, like financial reasons, obviously. But he kept practicing and practicing himself and kind of like self-made himself. I remember when he was little, he would study Japanese art, culture, and just taught himself kind of to be who he is today and his experiences. So, Mark, if you're there, there you are. Okay, if you could say hello in the comments, sometimes that'll pop you up and then I can bring you on. I see that you're on. I see Melissa is on. My sister-in-law Cindy is on. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. We're waiting for Mark Baiz to come on. Mark, okay, there goes Mark. All right, we're going to on camera. Oh, I don't have my drum roll thing set today. Hello! Yay!
Hey, what up? What's good? Okay, so I can see everybody's comments now and stuff. Okay.
You can see?
Okay.
This is your first time on the live?
This is my first time doing I guess on the spotlight. This is to me, this is more of a spotlight because now it's public and everybody's seeing us and talking.
There goes our brother Vaughn.
Hey, look at Vaughn. Look at this guy.
We got Melissa on, my sister-in-law Cindy in Trinidad on, a whole bunch of us here.
What's up, everybody?
Yep, thank you so much for coming on today. What are you doing?
You need more than me? Yeah, I'm working right now. I'm actually working on a children's book right now.
On another children's book?
Yeah, I can show you.
Wow, yeah.
This is the alphabet for the artist, the writer, she's a Delanica. She's doing this Creole and English translation of the alphabet book of just children's and stuff. So I'm just working on. That is among one of the projects that I'm working on right now. Among the many.
Oh my goodness, he's done my logo for me. I haven't used it yet, but he's done my logo.
I gotta do Ricardo's logo.
I have to get another one for the All Things Possible. But anyways, go ahead, introduce yourself first of all.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Mark Baiz. I am I'm an illustrator, a painter, and a graphic artist. I dabble in motion graphics and video editing. I do a lot of evangelism through my artwork, but I mostly try to apply my artwork to uplift people and not to destroy. And so you want me to start from the beginning, from what you were saying, or just kind of because I have a whole.
How you got into art and stuff, and then kind of how it led up. I'll
jump
in when I hear something I want to expand on.
I'll just say, okay, so it all began in a dark and stormy night. No.
Get ready, guys.
Yo, Vivian. What's up, Vivian? Hey, okay, so I remember, my mom used to, she had this guy, this boyfriend that he used to come and just draw at the table all the time, and I used to be so fascinated because I used to love cartoons, and I was just so fascinated with the fact that this guy could draw and create his own artwork that I'm like watching on TV, and so I would just sit there and draw with him. And one day I just kind of like, I don't know, he just stopped coming, and I still wanted to draw. I had this ambition to draw Ninja Turtles and Charlie Brown, and honestly, it was because my mom. I give my mom like full credit as to why I am a comic illustrator, not just an illustrator or an artist. Because anybody could be a painter or anything, but to be able to tell a story, um, I remember my mom she used to give me like, she would always give me the newspapers and just give me ambition to be like, yo, try to apply for these newspapers. And I'd be like, I was like 7 years old, and I'm like, I will. One day, I will. And I just kept on, I was drawing, and everybody would draw better than, or everybody around me drew better. Like, Vaughn would draw better, his friends would draw better. Everybody drew so much better than me, and I just wanted to draw as good as everybody, but kept on, and I just had this ambition to for me, I have a stubborn ambition. Like, when I have a drive to want something, when you have a passion to want something, I think that's when you know that's what you're designed for. Because
Yeah.
I was so stubborn. I knew everybody drew better than me, but I'm like, I'm gonna get better, and that was always my mentality. Even till today, I'm like, if I can't do something, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna eventually do it, because you just have this drive of just wanting to, complete something. And so everybody stopped drawing, but I kept going. I kept drawing, and I never gave up, and I got better. And anyways, I started doing comics and stuff like that. Um, but like, I think, like, as I grew up and stuff, I just kind of started doing like graphic arts and very simple stuff, and it went nowhere. And it was like after I got married and after I found my faith in God, and then I was just like, man, I can apply my talent I can give purpose to my talent. I just understood, like, now, it's not just drawing or not just creating artwork, but it's a matter of applying purpose, behind your craft. And you know what I'm saying? And I think that was me. That was my epiphany. That was the beginning of that flame of being able to apply yourself for a greater purpose, and not just for a self-centered trying to get my name out there or anything. Because getting your name out there will, you know,
You can always back, yeah, fire. What I wanted to just point out too, like, as I remember, it's so funny that you said everybody else's art was better than yours, and we were all so impressed, like, as your siblings and listening to mommy, like, your art was good. What the heck, you that? But it's funny because the passion though that kept you for that, I think through a lot of the teenage years, and I was saying, one of the things we have in common is both being like literally homeless. And I remember at that time you had actually drew a story about like what you were feeling at that time. It was the first time, like, because you were always expressing and doing little comics, but it was always like Sunday paper comics. But that was the first
yeah,
time I had seen like a story unfold from you, that, you know what I mean, like a
yeah.
full
That's very
story.
observant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, I think there's two times like I learned to, like, eventually I learned to use my craft, like doing telling stories and stuff. I learned to apply that like as a journal, and so that's what I would do. Like, when I was living in that park for, like, all those times, and I was able to draw 21 pages because it distracted me from being hungry, and I was able to express myself fully on the pages. And even though it was just like what I was expressing on the pages were just like, just a jealous boy who was after a girl and stuff like that. Like, it was just, it was fulfilling. It felt good to be
Yeah.
able to just lay these things down, and it has a pretty cool story, whatever. But it's not. Yeah, and I think there's two times I did that, where I was one when I was living in the park, and the second time when I was living in a halfway house. In the halfway house, um, there's a testimony, even like where, in one of my pages, that like I have a I felt like God worked. He used my own craft to tell me a message. Like, for me, I was like, I had one intention to tell the story, which is this story right here. I can show you right here. So this story I did when I was in the halfway house, and I was like very, very young. That's all. That's all I have right there. But I was very young right here, and this page for me, I was just like, I felt like the one thing I wanted to convey was like I felt like I had no place in good because I tried, even though I tried living such a good life. I'm like, man, maybe I am evil because bad things always keep happening to me. Why am I homeless? Why am I alone? Why am I depressed? Why am I like this? And I just felt like I drew this page out of to in spite of God, to just make. I wanted him to act like he was begging for my life, but what he was doing was making a promise. And like when I after I drew these pages, it was like he was telling me to have faith and have patience. He was telling me that only if I have faith and patience will my spirit be released from the heavens. And it was like 7 years later after I drew that page, right? I got baptized. I got baptized. I answered the altar call, and he didn't answer me for both those things. None of those I didn't feel anything of. And it was me moving to Orlando, learning to, I had to get into a secular environment. I went clubbing, you know what I'm saying? And I lived that life, of course, in Orlando. It was like underground and stuff over here, b-boying and smoking and partying. And then eventually I just got, you do that so much, you do anything so much, you just get tired of it.
Yeah.
And it just gets boring or it gets redundant. And you're like, all right, well, here we go again, today and today and today and today. And you party every single day. It gets tiring. So, um, I just became redundant and I just felt unfulfilled. And once I found my purpose in God, it was like I found Fabian, who was this girl who I had a crush on since I was 12 years old. And it's like the probability of how all these things work together. It was, to me, I don't believe it's coincidence, but I believe that it was. I mean, I believe it could be destiny in some sense.
Like destiny, design, all of that has a part to
Yeah.
do with it too. I know one of the things too that helps people get clear on things that they're trying to create in their life is by like doing journals and stuff like that. I feel like drawing is another way too that you did that because like I don't know if you
Is my lighting good? My lighting seems to feel so
it
bad.
was okay. It's okay.
And on the seventh day, he said to me,
Oh, the heat
yo, what's up, bro? Look at this guy.
is on.
What's up? I probably just say like
Yeah,
this. All right,
but
this is
I feel
better.
like those things help you get clarity too. Like I remember, I don't know if you were drawing Fabian before she actually became your wife, or you did that story that you did for her wedding. I know that was after, obviously, but I feel like your drawing also helps you manifest, like create so many things that in your personal life too, right? And then one of the things that I love that you did with your art was that you were seeking for God. I was telling people yesterday, right? I did a live yesterday with my friend Brian. And I was telling him when my beliefs started to change and shift a little bit, because I was in the church and stuff like that too. And when it started to shift, you were the one who actually, because I remember thinking, okay, I don't believe certain things anymore, but I'm never going to tell anybody anything. And then you had came to the hospital to see me, and we were walking to the elevator. We said something, and somehow the conversation about the devil came up, and you were like, "Do you remember that?"
No, when was this?
When Jasmine was in the hospital.
Oh, wait, yeah, wait. Remind me.
So you were walking. We were walking to the elevator. I was walking. You came to see me by yourself without Fabian.
Yeah.
And we were walking to the elevator, and you said something with about like the devil. And at that time, my changing was already starting to take place, and like I was just like learning and like realizing so many different things and what the church was teaching for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, okay, I don't want to tell anybody what I believe. I'm just gonna believe it and live this life
Remember
as a
that. Remember
believer.
that.
And
Yeah.
then we walked to the elevator, and he was like, "Wait, you don't believe in the devil?" And then in my mind, I was telling people
Oh,
in my
yeah, that's
mind, my
right.
mind was like, "Don't say nothing, don't say nothing, don't say nothing."
Yeah, I
And then
remember
my
that.
mom's
Yeah, I
like,
remember that
"Nope."
moment.
And he was like, "What?" But what I was thinking of today, how awesome, because in every conversation after that, we went through a period where I felt was like we were trying to make each other see each other's point, but then we got to a
Mm-hmm.
point where we were like, "Look, I love
Agree
you.
to
I
disagree.
believe, yeah, what we agreed to disagree. This is your belief. This is my belief." And then
Yeah.
when we really did that, what I noticed happened was, excuse me, a lot of times we were saying the exact same things, just in different wordings.
Mm-hmm.
A lot
Yeah.
of the times, a lot of
Yeah,
times.
yeah, yeah.
And so, like, I see now too, even with your walking, like you said, you use your art to share your faith and to share you evangelize through it. Just to see still, excuse me, I had a cold. to
Because
see your openness with it. Like that's been pretty amazing as your big sister. Just wanted to let you know.
no, thanks. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like now I've learned more and more because I mean, for me, it was always a search of. I mean, like I think it was your dad who said, and I'll say that. Let me say it again. Your dad was the one who said, "On, can I say his full name? No, I can't. I'm not gonna say his full name. I'm gonna say your dad was the one who said that I couldn't be an artist. He was like, man, what? It's like what you can't do anything being an artist in this world. And I think so much people obviously probably feel that way. I mean, it's not a it's a hard life because I mean, there's so many different criteria of art that you can be a part of, and it's like a matter of just honestly the only reason why anybody can't be anything is because of lack of vision. So once you understand the vision of and I mean all of it, and like all of that becomes a journey in understanding what the vision of what your purpose is to be. And a lot of people, I think it's so sad because for me, I mean, not sad, but it's like you know, I think it's hard because a lot of people don't know what their purpose is, and they try to find it in other things, and instead of honestly seeking themselves and understanding themselves, dissecting themselves and what they're about, they ask other people, and it's like, hey, what are you doing? That's a good idea. I'll do it too. And then it's all of a
Yes.
sudden now they're working in a purpose that's not designed for them, but influenced by their surroundings.
Yes.
And I think the thing is all of us need to understand what we're really called for, and not try to be influenced by by the curiosity of what you know. I don't know.
Everybody else is. But the thing is with that too, I just want to
Yeah,
add in is
I
like
was gonna say.
I know it's a balance with it because like okay,
Yeah,
so let's say you don't know what you're doing and you're like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, that sounds like a good idea, like you said. Now I always said jumpstart. Let those things be a jumpstart for you to really find what you find as a passion. Like if Dave never handed you a pen and paper, you probably wouldn't have known that you like art. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So and then when he left, your passion was still there. So you realize, okay, this is my
That's
passion.
right. That's
So
right.
like I started taking care of kids and I love taking care of kids and I wanted to be a doctor and I realized what I really love doing as time passed and I did that and I moved to the next job and I did the next thing and I did the next thing. What I really love is just helping people in general, right? And I love the innocent age. So one thing will lead to the next, to the next, to the next. It's just not to get caught up and make this thing a passion, a drive for you if it is not your passion. And you have to want this, a good
Yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I
you have
can't
to be
argue.
passionate about it. Yeah.
You can't argue. That's one thing I can't argue with causality. I mean, I believe, and it's so funny because I think we talk in different forms of energy. For me, it's like I believe I always see. I know, like for well, for
Just
me, I
say
feel
it.
like okay. I feel like God works in causality, right? And like if you believe in the chaos theory, it means that anything is possible and unrepeatable. And so like the idea that you could drop a pen a certain way, you can't drop it twice because what I'm saying, because of the chaos theory, and because
Yeah.
it's like you can't control the way how the direction and physics and all that stuff. And I believe that the only thing that's infinite, uh, the numbers, is God. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, I mean, like with every decision that we make, there's I believe every decision exists, but we're only conscious of this one this life that we're living in, with all the decisions that came with it. So I mean, like in the sense of some people, God said in the Bible, it says, I forget where, I think it's in Timothy or probably Psalms, where he talks about he knits us in the womb. He like knits us, like
Yeah.
he's creating us. And then, like, I mean, like a lot of Christians, I feel like they probably think that he finishes in the womb, or a lot of people probably thinks he finishes like the knitting, like, and then the baby's born. But the idea is that he's knitting the character, and people probably think they see crochet needles and thread because they have to give an illustration that everybody can understand. But the
Hmm.
idea is that he uses causality. He uses people. He does use he uses like bad and good experiences that we think that are so wrong and that we blame him for. Like why? But these things help build our character into helping us to develop and understand the world for what it is.
Yes. Yeah. I like that too. I believe that it very similar uh concoction. My brother's a dorky guy. He makes me laugh so And we got support of your big brother, my little brother there. All
I
those
know,
hearts going
I
up
know,
there.
I know. Vaughn understands. Vaughn feels for sure.
Yeah. So right now you're working on children's art. I know last weekend I had said too in one of the lives that you had a documentary that was released in the theaters,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
You want to talk about that a little bit? What was that about, and like how about your work?
So, More Than What You See is a documentary that was directed by Natalie Jones, and she pretty much produced everything. The Click Foundation Career Life Improvement Center. They're a group also on Facebook, but they're local to Orlando, and they basically help a lot of young women or just old, not old women. They help a lot of young girls and women that are like either in distress or in need, and they find ways to help and just like uplift them or help them out either financially or with clothing or just any way possible. Right? I mean, there are all kinds of denominations of them, but we just tried to do this documentary. We wanted to produce this documentary so that we could gosh, it's like putting on my nerves. We wanted to produce this documentary. Oh, that's so much better, right? Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so so we wanted to produce. I feel like you can see all my sweat and everything. I'm like,
Okay, you're sweating. My eyes is
so
red.
we, yeah, so we wanted to produce this documentary so that so that we can like empower, I think, black girls. And it was so crazy in the process of creating this documentary because so much people were supporting us depending on their motive. And when people found out, they were like, "Oh, you're doing a documentary about girls?" They were like, "Oh yeah, for sure. Like, we'll support you." And then when they heard that it was, "Oh wait, just black girls," people retracted. And it was like there's something about the idea that it's black girls that made them like make people retract, and I think that's so wrong. And I think that's why honestly more and more why this documentary is so important. The message of it, I think, it's so dope. And I mean, I was talking with the animator Tyrone, Victoria's son. He was talking the same thing, like, cause him and I are both guys, and I'm like, man, for a documentary that's made about girls, I felt really relatable to it because it was just about how, um, you know, we're all influenced by the media or by people of what things should look like, but
Environment.
the
Yeah.
reality of what they are. Yeah, and so people think that what beautiful looks like. I mean, like, obviously, beautiful and confidence is one thing. But if people saying that, like, oh, like, if you have to have if you twerk like this and you have titties like this or boobs like this, then it's like, what I'm saying, like
Yeah.
people are gonna like try
Label.
to follow that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian or you know what I'm saying, and to us, we're trying to break that idea, that concept. We're trying to redefine the narrative of
That
what
beauty
beautiful
is.
is.
So yes, yeah. I mean, I know experience a little bit. Like with the hair thing, it's funny, and one of the reasons too why I actually bring it up and I love it is with Jaya having to experience that at her job. She actually lost her job, kind of in a sense. It has to be because of her hair, because her hat wouldn't fit. She has her big puff. She has an afro, and so her hat wouldn't fit. And they told her she had to wear a hat. So she fixed a hat where it would be kind of like a visor, and they said it couldn't. Now, of course, with company policy and everything like that, they had the right to fire her. But in a sense, I went in there and I was like, "You're firing my daughter because of her hair texture." Then here, switch it around. Here I am now in Fort Lauderdale when I used to go to the Seven Days Adventist Church in Fort Lauderdale, the one in Lauderdale. I remember sitting in there and everybody, I think we were with Miss Dawson at the time. We were in the fall and sitting in there and everybody was like, they were talking about what black people should have, to be looked upon and blessed and stuff like that. And they said, not everybody has nice hair like her. And they pointed to me in the whole damn church. And I'm like, what do you mean my hair is nice? Everybody else's hair is nice too, because I'm looking at all these women and their hair is looking
Wow.
so pretty. And so like for me, you know what I mean? So I remember Melissa, as a matter of fact, on here and I having a talk saying, it's so crazy how they define nice hair because it has my texture, yet my daughter's hair is not nice because of the texture that she has. Like, it's such bullshit to be
So
honest.
wrong. So
Yeah,
wrong.
it is.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I love that you did and you had a part in that documentary. It will be airing on TV or anything soon so people can
It's gonna
find
be
it.
on YouTube. It's gonna be on YouTube on July 4th. So
Oh, awesome.
yeah, so
Okay.
look out for it on YouTube. It's greater than you can see. by
Yeah.
Natalie Jones and Mark Baiz. Or yeah,
When it's released, we'll post it on here or post it on the group too, so that whoever wants to see it, that can see it. So
yeah.
do you offer your artwork now still to people if they wanted to reach out to you to do any kind of logos, arts, and stuff? Are you still doing that?
So I'm doing okay. So specifically, I'm not doing logos. I'm no nothing.
I'm just
I'm.
kidding.
So here's the thing. Like I like unless it's like for definitely unless somebody's really anxious about my style, and they want my style. Not anxious, but unless somebody
Yeah,
wants my
the
style as a
start. Yeah.
criteria of the logo, then I'll do it in that sense. But if you're just looking for a logo, you're probably better off finding somebody else because I'll probably end up overpricing
Do you
just
have
for
the
the sake
logo
of.
there that you did for me? Do you have it on you?
Yeah, I can show you.
I just want to show a little bit. This is for another business that I was doing that he did a logo for. Um, why I asked him, and I think you did one for Victoria too, right? Our sister.
I did some commissions for Victoria, but this
Okay.
logo here. Oh, here, let me show you here.
Yes.
She la 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 lum. She la 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 lum lum. She lum lum lum. She la 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 lum. She la 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 lum lum. She lum lum. Yeah. Anyways, these are all different.
He did
These are
that
all
for
different.
me, like in. Look at that.
This is a children's book I'm working on here with Devin Ricker, and
That's
then I
so
think
cool.
yeah. Anyways,
Show a
yeah.
few more. Show a few more really quick. Show one with Fabian.
Let me see here. With Fabian.
Okay, anyone
Look
then.
at this one here.
Oh, that is. I've
It's
never seen
Fabian.
that one.
It's
Yeah,
Fabian's logo. This
I
is
never
her
seen.
business card, or this is her web page, her drop
Wow.
page.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, this is my art, all my art stuff. I'm doing these character designs and stuff for this new comic strip that I'm working on.
So you mostly are doing comic books and stuff like that. You'd rather
That's
work
so
with.
yeah, exactly. So if anybody wants to find me for character development, concept art, comic illustration, storyboard, children's books. So I had to what I had to do just to let people know. So I had to because I did like I said I do everything. I do graphic designs, I do photography, I do videography, I do video editing, I do motion graphics, I learned all of these different facets of design because I love design, I love art. It's the same way how our mom loves dancing and she can see gestures. I understand now what she talks about when she's because she would always describe about gestures about how like people she can see how people like the dance moves and everything,
Yeah.
and she's always talking about gestures, but she didn't know how to articulate it.
Yeah.
And so like for me, I feel like I had to choose one to become a master on, and I chose illustration because photography was too, you know,
It wasn't your passion. It didn't feel
yeah,
like.
like I felt like it was work. All
Yeah.
the other ones felt like work, and I could make money off of it. But this is where I feel like it's not work, and I could do it, and I could be. I mean, the thing is, it's like
So
when you
important.
like, I could be like when you love doing something, you want to just put everything into it. You
Yeah.
don't want to just like do it for just a,
Half of it.
you want people to see this and be like, whoa, this is like, what I'm saying. You want to impress people, and that's when it becomes a passion, and that's where we want to be. We want to be in what we're passionate about.
Yeah.
I mean, man, you know what's so crazy? Just to say something real quick. I'm sorry, because
No,
I have a
that's okay. Go
platform right
ahead.
here. When people work and stuff like that, right? When we all work, everybody's working and stuff like that. We spend most of our days. Like I call it. It's an attention space, right?
Hmm.
So like when we're if I'm holding a book and I lose attention of what I'm doing, you tend to drop things. That's why we drop things because we lose our attention is lost in what our hands are holding. So if we're spending all our days, 8 hours, sometimes 16 hours behind, and working in an uncomfortable condition, our attention is consistently on uncomfort. We're just like enduring work in order to make it. And because our mind is so focused on is so consciously focused on this uncomfort, we need a relief, which is why people have like happy hour, or people go to alcohol, or people want to smoke, or people want to do things. Is because it's the balance. Is we're neutralizing the balance of what our minds do and what. And I think it's a crazy phenomenon because it's like not a phenomenon. I mean, it's just reality and causality. But I mean, like it's the idea of like, well, it's where we are. Where are we consciously all day long? And like, can we change that? Can we be in an uncomfortable environment and consciously make ourselves comfortable so that we can preserve our mentality? You know what I'm saying? So just some food for that.
I love it. So that's what you're saying, is that find the relief to find the balance, right?
Yes. Yes, it's a matter of finding like learning. I mean, for me, that's how I go into worship and stuff. I go into worship and I feel like I get peace from that.
Oh,
I
I think
mean,
I kind of got it now too. You're saying like with the art too, even if you have work or whatever, like that is your sense of kind of like
I'm
relief putting
consciously
into your
somewhere that I
art.
want to be. I'm consciously,
Got
yeah.
it.
It's
I was a
but
little
people
slow
like
right there.
you know, but when people like work in construction or they're working as a
Oh,
garbage man or a septic,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like
Something that you're
like
doing to make your 9 to 5, to make your
it
bread,
becomes an art.
whatever.
It becomes an art of where we how we consciously carry ourselves
Yeah,
because yeah, it's I think that's what's happening. A lot of people now are becoming so codependent on on this comfort, on their comfort, like on their conscious they're becoming so codependent on the comfort of their conscious.
got it.
So they need something to make them happy instead of finding a way to be happy.
Ooh, that's a great way to end it right there. Good wrap up right there. Say it one more time. They need to find something. Say it one more time.
They need to find something to make them happy instead of finding a way to be happy. I think that's all I said. Dang. They
Me too.
yeah,
I was
it's,
gonna
it's
say
like
like say that again. I'm like say what again? It just was flowing.
they
I
need
don't
to
know.
find something to make them they need to find something to make them happy and not something and not make them they need people don't need to find something to make themselves happy. They need to find a way to make themselves
Yeah.
happy. They don't need substance, is what I'm saying. They don't people don't need
Oh,
substance. Shoo, it sounded better the first time, okay? Shoo. But I know what I'm saying. This ain't no dry turkey talking here
Oh
now.
Lord, Vivian said that's deep. She loves your art. She said you're very talented. I'm trying to see if anybody else says or asks any other questions before we click off
Vivian is
here.
so supportive.
Melissa is
Thank you,
here
Vivian.
giving support and her love.
Thank you, Vaughn. I see Vaughn. I love
Yeah,
him, bro.
Vaughn, Melissa, Sheldon was on giving
Melissa's
some
there?
love too. Yeah, Melissa's still
She's still
here.
here right now.
Yeah,
What's up, Melissa?
trying to see who else. Everybody else,
I
thank
love
you so much. If you
Melissa.
have any other
Miss
questions
Melissa.
you want to ask right now, I'll give you 2 seconds, 30 seconds to ask the question.
Now it's time for the
Time.
questions. tell me thine questions, and I shall answer. Immediately.
Just in that voice too.
No questions?
All right, yeah.
Hello there.
Melissa just saying hello.
Hello there.
I think our latency is slow, so we have to wait like 1 second.
Yeah. I know, because that's happened before. I'll say, okay, any questions? And then nothing. I'm like, all right, goodbye now. Go back. I'm like, oh, I missed all that.
Oh, a whole
But
bunch of
it's a little
questions.
slow. Yeah, a little behind time. But anyways, thank you, though, seriously, for taking time. I know you're always doing your art, your work, and stuff like that. And
Damn,
I
I'm
just
too
wanted you
busy
to
for
come
this.
on.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
And with us both going through different, all of us, all 6 of us have so many different stories, even though well, for the majority, the 4 of us always grew up together. Rich and Ricardo's with their dad. We have so many different stories. How are you supposed to take him seriously?
Tell me more about myself and all of us.
We have so many different stories, but yet, there's always that, well, first of all, we're blood connection, but we're able to identify now with each one of us, even though it's different beliefs, where we are in a space where we can love and respect each other in our beliefs and be able to have, like, you on my platform, me on your platform. I'm talking about just in life, period, too, not
Yeah.
necessarily social media, whatever that. We're able to be around each other and not feel this need to make each other believe what we believe in, but to love each other. That has helped cause me to be able to take that out into the people that I know around me. Because when I meet people who have beliefs like you do, or have beliefs like Victoria does, or have beliefs like Vaughn does, I know how to respect them because I've had to have my brothers and sisters around me where I learned that first. Right, so
Yeah.
I wanted to bring and kind of people feel out,
Yeah.
my family and stuff like that. So thank you for coming on, little brother. I will
Of
see you
course. Of
soon.
course. It was fun. It was awesome.
Okay, thank you
As
for coming
always.
on.
I think that's something I want to say also. You're welcome. Goodbye.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I wanted to say, I think also that happened. That's how I probably also grew into that nature as well, and having to, I think, understand because honestly, for me, it's like walking in my faith. I realized that like, even Jesus never like he never forced anybody to understand anything. He only that's why you like when you ask a lot of questions because to me like I always want to know what people think and understand if it's subjective or objective and I think you helped me to I've learned to love people for anyways I learned to love people for who they are. That's what I'm trying to say. I've learned to accept and love you for who you are and what you do. I'm proud of
Love
you.
you too, little brother.
Yeah, yeah.
Love you.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Have a good evening. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, cool. I'll see you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thank you for meeting my family. You get a little bit of feel of my experience. Guys, I don't know what's happening. Leaky eye here. Sorry. But one of the things he just reminded me of too was a message that came to me when I was, I think I was 17. I was almost turning 18. And I had just learned about, like, I was in Job Corps and some friends passed me by. As a matter of fact, Rory, I've done an interview with him and Angie from Job Corps. Um, and I remember they passed me by with their Bibles, and I was like, I was on the gazebo smoking my cigar. I'm like, where are they going? And it was like to church, and I was like, dang, they look. It was just like 4 or 5 of them. And I was like, I think I want to go with them one day. And going with them to church. Hold on, I kind of lost my train of thought. There, we were talking about Vaughn. What was I talking about? I lost my train of thought, but just looking at from my past coming back to where I am now to being able to accept people for their beliefs, their different lives of walk, how again I always said that we were connected. I think I just remembered. So I remember nope, it went back out. Anyways, guys, that's what's coming. There's so much stuff happening right now. I have so many other cool people coming on next week. Yeah, I do. I do that all the time when there's like 5 different thoughts coming in and you're trying to organize them in your head and get the stories coming in and out. Yeah, that's what just happened. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate you giving your love, your support, my friends, my family, my soul friends and family as well. About going to church, I know, Melissa, I said going to church, but there was a purpose I was saying about when Mark at the end going to church, Job Corps. I don't remember. And I didn't even smoke yet. Anyways, guys, you guys have a great night. Thank you for joining me. I will be back on again next week. We're going to take a break for a few days. I'll replay some of the videos that I've done the interviews for. But join me again next week. I have a full week. We have lots of conversation, lots of love to share. You guys have a great rest of your night, great weekend. It is fun. It was fun for me too. I love you guys.